everybody, it's your boy Fettucini here from Fettucini Plays on YouTube and Twitch, and I'm back here at Fireheart Games to go ahead and review this new Order of the Spellcaster structure deck that recently came out. I was more than happy to come back to do this. I did the Salamangreat structure deck that is also something you should pick up for sure. And so yeah, this is a new Spellcaster deck. I have a lot of love for Spellcasters. It's like one of my favorite archetypes in general since day one, since like old school dueling. And yeah, the Endymion, man. I can never say it. Endymion. The Endymion structure, or the archetype itself, has been something that I've always played. I played it back in the day. It wasn't like super good, but this new stuff is really lit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started opening this thing. If you guys remember from the last video, this was nearly impossible to open. I got some practice in, and we're gonna open it for you guys. We're gonna go ahead and review everything. So first and foremost, every structure deck, like last time, comes with a mat. So there's that mat. In the back of this mat, it shows you some combos, and it also shows you, again, some really good stuff you can pick up in other sets that would help this deck, and it'd help it in general. It's just staples, and a lot of the stuff is older stuff, and it actually is shouting out like newer sets that are gonna come out. So yeah. Probably one of the best things about this deck is that it is a Spellcaster deck, obviously, but it's a Spellcaster control deck. It's something that we haven't seen in a while. It's a pendulum deck, so it kind of goes hand in hand with the whole spell counter effect thing. So you get your spell counters on your monsters, and your monsters are pendulum monsters, so that counts as a spell counter, because pendulum monsters are technically, while they're in the scales, they're spells. So I'm going to go ahead and open this little... Oh wow, this is actually a lot easier than last time. Okay.
Proof that he just had difficulty last time.
Yeah, no, this is, I swear this was 10 times harder last time. Alright. So, oh dude, what is this? Oh, awesome, they're actually shouting out the new game that's going to come out on the Switch. Legacy of the Duelists. It's not out yet, and if you have a Switch, dude, pick it up. It looks like a lot of fun. They updated the card database, so they have a lot more cards. They have links and stuff. A lot of updated cards too.
Konami, please update Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Generations. Come on,
yeah,
you're still stuck in pendulums.
Like, get with the program, Konami. And then you have your, your Duel Links card that you always get. So, all right, so I'm gonna get started. I botched the name already, so be prepared for me to botch the name again. So here you have your boss monster, Endymion, the mighty master of magic. So this is your boss monster. It's really cool that they brought back this old archetype, and they gave it a new spin. This guy is your boss monster for a couple reasons. So I'll put that on screen if you want to like pause it and go ahead and read the effects and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and read the effects to you guys. So it's a dark spellcaster monster with a monster effect of once per turn, when a spell or trap card is activated, you can return one card with a spell counter to your hand, and if you do, negate the activation. That's just busted already, I think. I mean, like, this deck has a really good competitive matchup with a lot of the things in the meta right now. I specifically want this deck because it has a really good matchup with Sky Strikers, and alongside with like Salamangreat, this is one of those decks you want to pick up if you want to get a little bit more competitive in what you're playing, and this is really one of those decks you want to pick up. There's a lot more effects to that, but that's probably like the main thing. Also, you can remove spell counters. I believe it's 6. Yeah, you remove 6 spell counters from the field and special summon this from your pendulum zone, and then it says, then count the number of cards that you control that have a spell counter. Destroy cards on your opponent's side of the field up to that many counters. So that's really cool. If you have a really good established board with a lot of spell counters on it, it proves to pop everything on the field. So it is really good, and it has a really cool matchup. So the next monster in the deck that comes, it's a reflection of the Endymion. This card, I mean, these cards, besides like what they do and stuff, I mean, this is my personal Yu-Gi-Oh! Fanboy self speaking. These cards are really beautiful. I love the artwork on like all the spellcaster archetypes, pretty much all of them. They all look really cool. And this guy, oh, it's actually a light monster. Okay, I thought they were all dark for some reason. So the monster effect is you can special summon this once per turn. If this is special summoned, you can target one card your opponent controls, and if you... one card you control with a spell counter, accept this card and return that opponent's card to your hand. So this has a bouncing effect that is really convenient. It has a pendulum effect as well, but I'm sure you guys could pause it and read it. Would this be a 35-minute video if I stopped and said everything that the cards did. So the next card in the deck is Spell Power Mastery. This is your Rhoda. Oh wait, like right here. A little bit more. Should I just like stack them on top of each other like that? Okay, so this is, remember last time I said that Rhoda is pretty much your, this card looks for anything else in your deck. So Spell Power Mastery is add one Endymion monster from your deck to your hand, and then you can count the number of Spell Mastery and Spell Power Grasp you control or have in your graveyard, and place that many spell counters among cards that you control that can have a counter on it. So this is really good with another card that's in the structure deck where it places a spell counter on something that you can't put a spell counter on. Plus, this adds the effect that you can add spell counters to the amount of this card and the other card I was talking about that are in your graveyard and that you currently control. So this is your Rhoda. This is a really good card. The searchability of these monsters are insane. They all look for each other and special summon themselves out, and it's really cool. So the next card we have is Dwimmered Path, and the effect is target one spellcaster effect monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and this is pretty much your like monster reincarnation, which is really cool. You can only activate one of them once per turn though, but that's still a really cool effect to have. The next card that, I mean, and this is actually kind of great. Well, I guess they usually do that where they put their higher rarity cards first and then they do like the rest of the deck. I don't remember the Salamangreat deck being like that, but I could be wrong. The next card you have is the Link monster Daybreaker, the Shining Magical Warrior. So it's a Link 2 with the arrows down left, down right, and the only requirement is 2 spellcaster monsters, and it says if this is Link summon, place 1 spell counter on this card. It gains 300 attack for each spell counter on it. You can only activate one of these effects once per turn. If a spellcaster monster is special summoned to a zone this points to, place a spell counter on this card. And the other effect is you can remove 2 spell counters from this card, target 1 card on the field, and destroy it. That's really cool. I'm really glad they added updated support to this, kind of spell counter idea that they've had in the past, and this deck really proves that. It's always cool to get new support for older archetypes. So if you're a fan of this archetype where it's like spell counters, adding spells, and special summoning monsters, this is the deck that you probably want to pick up. Again, I'm a Spellcaster fanboy, so I automatically had to pick this up. So the next card we have is Magister of Endymion, and I'm just going to go ahead and place. Those are the shiny cards. I'm going to do that treatment for the shiny cards. I'm going to just go through the cards and place them on there. You guys can, I'll make sure we'll give you enough time to pause the video so you can read them. So the next card is the really key part of this deck, I know, is the Servant of the Endymion. It's your scale 2. So this next card is Endymion this is the OG guy. Endymion the Master Magician. This is the guy that I played back in like my freshman year of high school, and I was like, dude, this deck is awesome. Like, this card is cool. It looks awesome, and I guess they reprinted it. I didn't know about that. So yeah, he was the original Endymion that you had to run in the deck. So next up we have Crusader of the Endymion. Again, following this spell counter kind of idea. Next card we have is Defender the Magical Knight. Mythical Beast Cerberus. Whatever. The next card we have is Mythical Beast Medusa. Oh, I actually thought this was a meme. It's actually called Magical Something. I thought I was reading that wrong, like, wait a minute. No, but that's Magical Something. Next card you got is a Magical Exemplar. I remember using that card all the time. Super cool. Magical Abductor. I said that right? I should hold them like this. Disenchanter. Apprentice Magician. Another big boy that everybody used is Demok, or Dark Magician of Chaos. This was not a thing. It was banned like maybe a year or 2 ago, and it came back with an errata, which is a change in the text, and it changes the effect. But this used to be my favorite card as well. Another card we have is Fairy Tale Luna. Rest in peace, Fairy Tale Snow. Next card we got is Summoner Monk. Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, otherwise known as Blue Boy amongst the Prophecy Boys. Next card we got is Magical Undertaker. not to be confused with Undertaker from WWE. We have Magician of Faith. And I know last time I brought it up because it's really interesting to see Konami just say, like, you know what? You know that really expensive card you knew? Let's just reprint it and make it cheap. So, yeah, here's the reprint of I guess this set, and it's really good. It's Droll and Lockbird. For kind of funny story, I actually called this card Drill and Lockbird for like the longest of time, and I went to a regional and people were like, what card are you talking about? I was like, dude, I need 3 Drill and Lockbird. Like, wait, like, do you mean Droll and Lockbird? Like, no, I need Drill and Lockbird. And the guy showed me a copy and I was like, yeah, that's it. And I read it and I was like, wait, that's Droll and Lockbird. My bad, bro. So, you know, this card though, this is one of those hand traps that has been reprinted a couple of times, and you know, more so now that it's a common, it's really easy to pick up, and especially if you've been missing out on this structure deck's perfect to pick up for that. So next card we have is Endymion's Lab. Magical Citadel of the Endymion. This is the old school field spell that you had with the old school cards. You have 2 copies of Spell Power Grasp. This card literally says, I'm pretty sure, like, put a spell counter on something that you can put a spell counter on, and you can add another one of itself. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I mean, like, just that's 2 counters in itself potentially. So then we have Arcane Barrier. Here we go with the spellbook shoutouts again. Spellbook of Secrets. I'm a spellbook player. Like I said, I love spellcasters. So Spellbook of Power and Spellbook of Wisdom. Something I'd probably advise if you're going to pick up the structure deck is that if you haven't picked up Dual Power, they actually had a really good reprint. It was a Spellbook of Knowledge. This deck comes with Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, which is Blue Boy, and it comes with a common copy of Secrets. There it is. And there's a really cool combo. It's just like for Draw Power, where you normal summon Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, you add Spellbook of Secrets, and then you add Knowledge, and then you draw 2. It's a little engine you can run in this that's really cool. Using all the spells give you counters on your stuff too, so it's really, really cool. So I'd recommend buying Dual Power and maybe pulling a Spellbook of Knowledge. I'm not guaranteeing anything. If that's how this worked, then there'd be a lot less like random pack openings. Anyway, so here's Magical Blast. I remember using that card back in the day. Now this card was busted back in the day. Magical Dimension. You got to special summon some spellcaster from your hand and then pop a card on the field. Dude, this card was lit. I love that card. Oh, Terraforming. Terraforming adds your field spell, and you know, it's simple and it's really cool. Another really good reprint that I didn't know was coming in this structure deck, but Left Arm Offering. Again, it's nice to see. It's really cool to see that Konami's just like reprinting stuff that was in high demand and was kind of not easy to get. One of the next card's actually one of those examples. Pot of Desires. It was like, I remember this card came out. I was at a regional and it was going for like $90, and I was like, "Are you serious? Like, how?" Oh, like I saw a deck list once. So I was like, "Yeah, you need 3 Pot of Desires," and I looked it up and I was like, "Wait, this is a $100 card, and you're telling me you need 3 of them?" Which now, and even today's Yu-Gi-Oh is like, yeah, dude, like $100 cards or whatever.
3 Thanos.
Yeah, the 3 Thanos card, and you know, like, it's crazy. But this card's a common now, and even like I think it was like 2 years ago it got reprinted. But now that it's a common, it's way more easier to get, so it's really cool. Then you have Mythical Bestiamorph. I'm gonna say some of these my sources are telling me that I got it right, the pronunciation. We have Pitch Black Power Stone, yeah. That is a trap card that adds spell counters on all your stuff. Extra Buck. Sure, dude. Gaga Shield. This is really good for protection on your spellcaster monsters. I also remember this being really good in spellcaster decks. And Magician's Circle. This card used to be really expensive. I remember, for some reason, I remember buying 3 of these and they were like $5 a pop, and I was like, wait, it's insane that they're common, and even then it's really cool and easy to get. So this deck I would recommend picking up because it has a competitive side to it. You could probably do pretty good if you had 1, but like on the real though, like you want to pick up 3 because I mean that's kind of like, you want pretty much 3 of each card that I started off with the hollows. It's always nice to have more copies of what you have anyway. So it's one of those decks where I'd pick up 3. There's a lot of older sets that you can pick up as well as your, preferably Fireheart Games. And you know, you can pick up a lot of older sets that have like pendulum support, and they mix really well with this. So I would not pass up buying 3 of these or 1 of these or whatever. But I think this is a really fun deck to pick up and play. So, and it's meta, so like that's always nice, right? The last time we had a structure deck that was meta, it's like super good, and everybody plays it. But dude, that doesn't matter. Just play this because it's cool and it's Spellcasters. So that was my opening for Order of the Spellcasters. I just think it's cool because they're Spellcasters. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you come to Fireheart Games and you know, do all your trading card purchases. This is the local spot, and it's awesome to support this place. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Again, I'm Fettucini Plays on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So we'll see you guys later.